those two sticks that they call crutches represent my right side of my body. And none of it was making sense. And it was so hard. But I said, I'm going to be able to do this. And I literally went around my house and I would say right, left, right, left. That's training. And however elementary that sounds or however silly that sounds, we can do that every day. We can wake up and decide and train our minds every single day. Right, left, right, wrong. Move forward. And just to continue to teach ourselves to hang in there and stay in the ring. And when something doesn't happen the way that we think that it should, we train ourselves, retrain, go get a book, read a book, write a book, whatever you don't know, and you need to learn about. My dad used to tell me that, go write a book. And I'd say, well, what do I write about? And he goes, well, if you don't know something, then go read a book. It's all there. And so he was teaching me in his way. Sure, he could have told me the answer, but he rathered me go find it. Go look here. Here's where you might find the answer, and go find it. And so as I reflect back on some of those things and just looking at ourselves and how can we as human beings, everybody's like, oh, he's the greatest of all time. Oh man, these announcers. And to me, there's just nothing more motivating than like a football, compilation of several different plays of many players. We've got this great guy in Cleveland, and they're putting all these clips together with him and what he's done for Cleveland and the city of Cleveland and stuff. And you watch him, and you can't help but get excited. I mean, you just want to go do something. And so whether you're in sales and it's, I always say pick up the phone on your worst day, pick up the phone on your best day, but you're not 100%, you are not going to succeed in sales unless you pick up the phone or have a business conversation. That's how we know you will fail for sure. That's how we know that. We know that. It's not rocket science. It's not news. But sometimes salespeople really do need to be told that. They really do. They need reminded. Well, it's never going to happen if you sit here stressing about it, scratching your head, making notes, looking up the account on their website. Pick up the phone and find out from them. Don't do all your research and pick up the phone and learn things from people, from their voices, and train your brain to look at businesses and people as that. We're on a very fine line here with this internet thing, and I know it's not a new thing, but you got to be really careful, especially when you're in the sales arena. Don't forget to make those personal relationships. Don't forget to pick up the phone and put your personality through. People that enjoy hearing who's calling them, those are the people that you will likely close a deal with because they find your call enjoyable. And it's training. It's training on being the best. You be the greatest of all time. Of you. You do that. You choose to do that and train yourself to do that. Well, how do I get there? Well, what do I do? Well, it's like my dad said. If you're in the field of landscaping and you just can't seem to get new customers, you need to look out there and find out what the guy who has a bunch of customers is doing. And not that you want to emulate that or copy that, just he's doing something right. Hey, maybe he has an inside sales rep that's making phone calls. Maybe maybe he's putting different signs and things like that on his truck. Maybe he has different messages that he's putting out on his Facebook or social media and using these tools and just instead of saying, oh, I have a Facebook page, but no one's following you. No one is listening. No one is, and so, it doesn't matter what your profession, you can do that. So if you're in sales, which I love and it's my heart, and I tell people I've been doing it since I was 5 years old and pretending in my kitchen when I was a little girl to be making sales calls. If that's it, then there is somebody else in your organization that if you look at them, that top sales rep, as the greatest of all time, and you look at them as the greatest, what are they doing? What are they doing? They're no different. They have the same tools. They were provided with the same marketing tools, the same setup, the same things to help you succeed. They have the same thing as you. What are they doing different? You love sales. It's why you interviewed. It's why you got the job. Well, what's that guy doing different? And look at that and research that. And if anything, pick up the phone and ask him, what's your day look like? What are you doing from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12? What are you doing that's different than what I'm doing? Because I sure want to be like you. I want to be like you. I want to get the sales that you are. I want to find out how you're doing that. That's how you become the greatest of all time. You don't sit in a chair and say, boy, that's something I would like to be. And let me tell you something. People might be like, oh, that's, gee whiz, Bev, that's, you know what? There are people that actually talk like that. They'll say that to me. They want to be the greatest. They want to do this. They want to be the best. But they don't want to do what it takes to get there. It's hard work. That's why they call it work. But some people love what they do so much, they're just blindly going through it. It doesn't feel like work to them. And that's how you know you found your niche. So as I'm talking about growth and building your muscle and getting stronger and training your mind to think differently so that you too can be the greatest of all time. Why not? Why is that out of reach? It's not. So just kind of take some of these things, these little pieces, parts, and say, you know what? Tomorrow, or wait, an hour from now, what could I be doing differently that's going to get me to my goal? What can I do differently in just as soon as I'm done doing whatever it is I'm doing, whether you're listening to this show or whether you're working out or whatever? Let's say you do work out every day and you're still not getting the results that you want. Well, what's going to take you to get there? So you might want to look up some people that do have the body that you want, or the strength that you want, or the motivation that you want. What are they doing? And learn from that. But I feel this pull in the universe, and there are a ton of really great, amazing people out there. But there's also this pull of negativity. And whenever people are that negative, that miserable, making those kind of comments and doing those kind of things, it's only because they're not happy. And I know this because of me. I was that person. When you're not happy with your soul and what you're doing with it, you're going to be negative, and you can't help it. You can't fight the shift. But it's our job to say, okay, it's easy to be negative. It takes a little bit more work to be positive. But I promise you, if you're not a person that exercises at all, and you are negative, if you start exercising and say, okay, I'm going to stretch this way and that way 20 times on each side tomorrow. That's one small step that'll get you to a goal. Maybe you don't want to work out. Maybe you don't want this big old fancy, rock hard muscular body. But exercising helps your brain. And when you stop, you run it's very concerning, because if you don't get all those hormones and things working for you, you can start slipping into another, area of negativity. So, just thinking about this, and I decided it doesn't have to just be Tom Brady. It doesn't have to be somebody like Steve Jobs or, whoever it is. Maybe it's a musician that you think is the greatest of all time. How'd he get there? So, yeah. There are things that there's people out there that could, or, maybe some of this matters, maybe some of it doesn't, I think our universe needs this. I do. I believe that our universe is in dire need of us giving back, and people doing everything that they possibly can for it. And I think that if we would, in really small steps, whether it's helping someone out, whether it is, helping yourself out, getting you stronger so that you can help others. There's just not enough said about that. There is the possibility that we have an opportunity here to really make a difference. And so I leave you with that. I know that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to start this new quest for the new year. I am going to try in my little world to be the greatest Bev of all time and see what I can do to make me stronger, to help me along, um, so that I can help others. Because, they always tell the mom in the house, you got to be strong, man. You got to be able to do that because, unless you're strong, you're not helping anybody. And it's hard. It's hard because you get caught up in your daily routine of, just kind of working and doing all that you can. And sometimes you get caught up in that. And it's hard to think about, you're putting everybody first. Everybody first. And there's not, what good are you if you're sick or if you are not, in the best health? You find yourself, and everybody gets sick and everything, and that's natural. But at the same time, how are you, in your brain? Are you positive? How are you feeling? That kind of thing. Are you able to give to your family the way that you could? I know this. I was a mom doing that. I absolutely, you give everything to others, and the next thing you might find yourself crashing, mentally. So, find a way to keep strong. We exercise our bodies. Truly exercising our brain is just as important. So important. And so however you do that, read something you never stretch, make sure that you're, breathing in and breathing out. A lot of people think that's just breathing throughout the day. No, I'm talking about those big old exhales and inhales, the kind where you breathe to the point of exhaling to where you've got no more air inside. This is all really, really good for you, so that you can keep your lungs open and able to accept the good and the bad and filter out the bad. All of that works our brain. So just a couple of a little bit of an exercise that really helped me through. Here's something I'll leave you with. Speaking of Steve Jobs, thanks everybody, first of all, for listening. But, I always like to tell people, as you're out there in the universe, lead with love. A lot of times that'll take care of the fear. You just find that love inside and do something kind for one another. And you want to talk about exercising your mind. Be grateful and thanking others and doing things for other folks. It's a game changer. So, okay, Steve Jobs. I know this is very famous, but I love this one. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by the dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. I love that one. So that's Steve Jobs. I know he was busy. I know people got their controversies on what they think about him, but I pretty much like the way that he thought, soulfully and spiritually. So I like to lean into those kind of folks. So thank you very much if you're listening, and hopefully you guys can tell your friends about the show. Again,